challenges that are faced by carriers. How do we overcome those? What are some of the strategies? Today with us, we have two guest panel members. One unfortunately could not come inside yet. There's been some logistical issues there, but we'll get started, and as soon as he's here, we will have him join us. So my first guest speaker today is Tamara. She is an owner-operator and I would say an influencer and a spearhead in adapting new technologies or overcoming challenges for owner-operators. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Tamara Brock, and I'm known as Miss Diva Trucker on YouTube. I have a social media following of over 26,000 truckers and people on social media. I've been in the trucking industry for 5 years. I am a driver. I also train. I've been training for the last 4 years female drivers that come into the industry. I only train females. I also am a driver recruiter. So I recruit drivers that are coming in the industry to make sure that they're okay. I stay with them from the time that they go to school all the way up until they training, and also up until they get their own truck. So I'm their point of contact until they do that. So I came across Truckers Tool by actually using the app through one of the CR England modes, and I just realized how easy and simple that it was, from not getting calls from brokers, and all my load information was there, and it just made it so easy for me to run my load from Salt Lake City, Utah, all the way to Colorado without having any issues. So they was able to keep up with me, and I didn't get those phone calls that you normally get. So that's how I got introduced to Truckers Tool. I've been using it ever since. And I just fell in love with it, and I've just been talking about it to everybody I know. So that's who I am. I work for LTI Trucking Company out of St. Louis, Missouri. And we're a refrigerated company that has about maybe 300, 350 drivers.
Thank you, Tamara. And my name is Prasad Kalapalli. I'm the founder and CEO of Trucker Tools. So today in our session, we'll take a couple of minutes to set the stage with what's happening within our industry, what are some of the trends, what are some of the challenges faced by carriers today. We'll also go over a little bit about Trucker Tools. We'll share with you what we do, and then we go into the discussion with our panel on some of these key issues that are faced by the carriers today and how to overcome those. So when you look at the trucking industry, primarily there are a few forces that act on us. The available freight and available capacity are always going to be the driving force for the rates. In addition to that, we also see issues such as detention, app overload, inefficiencies, and a lot of technology initiatives in this space. Now, when you look at the key trends in this space, the top 5 trends, one in particular is very important. Visibility has become it's almost like a standard today. Everybody wants to know, why can't, if I order something on Amazon, I know exactly when it will be delivered, why can't I see where my load is? Detention is, as I said, has been another big issue. Although a lot of trends pointed that after a year the detention would come down, in fact, the detention times have gone higher after the yearly implementation. This is an area that's no good for, first of all, for carriers or truckers, but also it's not a healthy thing for brokers or shippers either. Then when you look at other trends, about 80% of the freight is being moved by small carriers and owner-operators. So that's a very predominant segment that we need to focus on. And interestingly, this is the same segment that is also adopting to technology at a rapid pace, which means that in some ways this is the community that helps us see where the future is going to be. And obviously there's this app overload. We all get overwhelmed with all the apps that everybody has. Now, in addition to that, there are also some key trends that we found out from carriers, especially carriers are still making lots of calls to find freight, whether it's in a tight capacity market or a loose capacity market. This seems to be one of the pressing issues for carriers. In other ways to look at this is small carriers are on a treadmill in some sense. They're going from load to load. They're on a, they're stretched thin. So what can we do to change that? These are affecting the cost of the top line, the expenses, right? So at the end of the day, the take home for small carriers is affected with all these things. So can we impact them? I'm going to take a few slides to talk about our Truckables. Truckables is a mobile-based platform for carriers and brokers to connect with each other with the idea of solving some of these issues. It all starts with our mobile app. As you can see on the left-hand side. We are one of the pioneers in this space. Truckables started long before a lot of other apps, I think, with the idea of what can we do to bring one app for everything that the truckers need on the road. The theme that we went with is how do we simplify life for the trucker. So today we have over 600 truckers who downloaded our app. We provide everything from real-time cheapest fuel along their route to service centers, weigh scales, rest areas, truck stop guide, traffic, weather, including FMCSA approved medical examiners and things like tax and weight calculators. Anything you need, you put it in one tool. The way we built this app is by asking truckers what they need, and that's how we built this app. There are two other things that we provide in addition to all of these. One is the visibility of where the freight is from pickup to delivery, so there are no more check calls. And the last one, more important one, is freight. So available freight comes directly to the app, so truckers can, especially small carriers and owner operators, can book the loads directly from the app. If you look at the carrier base, we're primarily for owner operators and small carriers. Where 90% of our carriers, 125,000 carriers that we have, or small carriers or owner operators. Here is a screenshot of our active users. As you can see, they're all over the place. Some of the top things that people use our app for are to find truck stops or cheapest fuel, find loads, and help them with routing. So these are some of the top features. In the recent months, we have seen a huge uptake in not only getting new downloads, but also engagement has gone up. So truckers are using our app more in the recent months than before. Now the platform does everything from booking a load to tracking a load. After you deliver the load, you can scan the documents and send them back to the broker and get reloaded. Here is a screenshot of how truckers can book a load directly from the app. You see the rate, you just put the, click the button, book it now, boom, you get the rate information from the broker. If you're a carrier who has a dispatcher in the office, you can also do that through our web portal, not necessarily from our app. So, and again, all of this is private network, so we're not a public load board out there where you get bombarded with all these calls from other brokers. So you only work with your favorite brokers, and your information is confidential. Now, with that backdrop, let's go to some of the key issues that are faced by carriers today. And this is where we'll get our panels to start discussing those issues. The first one is detention. This is a famous and a very popular picture. Every time a trucker shows up at a shipper location, more likely they're getting backed up there. They're waiting for more than 2 hours. So we did a study from the truckers that are on our system. We looked at it and said, how long these guys are staying. On average, they're staying close to almost 4 hours. So 2 hours more than the time. Everything that you see in red is detention time over 2 hours. The stronger the red is, the longer they're waiting. Now, Tamara, so this is where, in your experience, how do you see this problem being addressed? What are some of the solutions?
Some of the solutions I feel with detention could be where there is communication in the app to say, since it's tracking us, how we get to the shipper, or the receiver, if it can automatically track that time, so they know that we arrived at this particular time and can start automatically negotiating or giving us that pay for staying an additional time past whatever is allowed. And then with the tracking, you know when we leave, so we don't have to keep track of that. It's already done for us. That will help, I think, with some of the issues that we have with detention.
We did ask some of our carriers on the same thing, and see if I can. So we asked them, would you want to be paid for this, or would you want to be, not have the detention? Interestingly, a lot of carriers have said we don't want the detention in the first place, more than getting paid for it. What are your thoughts on that?
And also with the tracking of times of the detention, I feel like we need to know if we're going to a particular location, what is the wait time? Because it repeats itself over and over. So if I'm going to a certain particular receiver and I know I'm at least be there 4 hours, at least that's communicated back to us, so we're not booking another load that may supersede the time that I'm gonna be at one location.
You're right, absolutely, because a particular detention over the time at a particular stop could affect the next load. So if we take a poll here, how many of you see the top 4 as potential solutions for detention? Most of you. Before that, let me ask you this: how many of you are owner-operators, small carrier drivers? So we have a very sizable audience of that. What about the rest of them? Are you trucking, or are you drivers, or are you in the back office for carriers? Trucking.
No, we're a shipper.
So I think it's an interesting thing that you're here too.
Yeah.
So how many of you think the top 4 are potential solutions for detention?
Just load us up so we can leave.
No detention at all for me. Because the thing of it is, you got to think about your ELD and your time. And if you when you can only take that time off for so long. But if you sitting there and you getting detention, 9 times out of 10, they giving you what, $25, $50 an hour. But then you look at your time on your ELD, it's eating away. And if you got another load, it's just messing up everything. I say no detention. 2 hours, you do the math. If you every time you make a delivery, you already giving them 2 hours. So out of a 5-day week, that's 10 hours. Okay, so if I'm giving you 4 hours, upwards to 12 hours at one spot, look at all the money I'm getting. Basically, I'm getting raped. Because the thing of it is, they're only going to give you detention up to a certain amount of time, and then all your other hours is just free time. So no, I make more money. I don't need the detention. I know what I'm agreeing. Let me get what I agree on, and let me move on.
Exactly.
You know.
Roll me up so I can go.
So I don't know if you guys heard that in the back. What she said was no detention, because doesn't matter what they pay. You're right. Some cases they get you get paid a flat fee of maybe $75 or so. But irrespective of it, it is affecting your driving time, especially with ELDs in place. You don't have enough time to drive. Right? I mean, you're losing the next load, and it just snowballs into something more. When we spoke to customers, one of the things that came up was they said, I would rather have the broker work with me and talk to the shipper as my time is coming up to 2 hours. So, not wait until after 2 hours and have the guy talk to them. Right? This is very interesting for us to even look at that, because I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but some shippers can, in some cases the detention can go away. At least, if we can make it transparent for all the parties involved in this process, that this trucker is waiting at a particular stop for more than 2 hours, or is coming up to 2 hours, and has been here for 4 hours. So that transparency is a very key thing, like you said. So what we did with trucker rules is, first of all, our tracking. Without tracking, as soon as you arrive at the shipper, we alert the broker and the shipper that, hey, the so-and-so trucker has arrived. Now, after hearing your feedback like this before, we have also started notifying the broker as your wait time progresses. So, half an hour before your 2 hour mark, so 1.5 hours into the wait time, we're going to alert the broker, send a call. What that does is helps the broker know that this particular driver is waiting at a particular stop for so long. So they can just pick up the phone and call the shipper. At least alert the driver. Just have that conversation. Obviously, we'd like to see this totally go away, but in the interim, we may have to take baby steps. There are always going to be situations where one truck gets delayed, which could snowball at a shipper location too. We can't predict what happens, right? Do you have anything else that you want to share with this approach?
I'm not sure, maybe could they, if there's a trend that shows that you have a long period of time as the shipper or the receiver, would that affect the rate? Showing that, this is the data that we collected, and our drivers are sitting here for this amount of time, we have to account for that time some way. So can you get it off the front end? Because you've shown a pattern of, if I come to your receiver, this is going to happen to me. Is that a possibility?
So, in essence, you're thinking about this map, because this gives us a market. I mean, we're looking at a market level, but we know at a shipper level how long the delays are. So
you take into account for the load, the weight, the fuel, all those different things that you take into account to get your rate from can be taken into account your wait time.
That's an interesting thought. More than because we have the data on how long a trucker stays at a particular stop. We can see if that could help.
Because if they're not making a change to eliminate the detention, because some receivers or shippers, this is a major issue for them, and they don't have a solution. This is how they do business. So we need to be compensated for the way that they do business.
Sure, go ahead.
First question: within your app, is it a place where the drivers can rate the shippers and the receivers? Because if it's a place where you can rate, maybe the drivers can alert, hey, come here and it's X amount of time, because I know repeat offenders, Target, Dial, places like that, it is ridiculous. So it's like, is it a place in the app where the truckers can actually communicate with one another, letting them know how it is, you know, rating their experience?
We have always taken the approach of rating as, you know, various points of interest. And shipper location is a point of interest. In fact, as of today, it's not there, but it's going to be released pretty soon, where you could actually rate on a shipper or a shipper location rather, not on a shipper but a shipper location.
Right.
Because they could have multiple locations, so one could be, you know, it's very difficult for them to send the reports back on.
It'd be nice where you can put a comment so you know exactly what their rating is for, you know? And that'll give, it's a trucker tool. It would
Sure, thank you. And in fact, we're looking at other ways to pull that shipper information also into the app, so you don't have to go outside. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, can you see rates of shippers 0 to 4? Like some comments from drivers before the load, I will know that my driver will spend like 4 hours with her. So I will see whether I want to move forward or not. Can I see this rates or comments before?
Sure, absolutely. So both the members of the audience, what they said was exactly the same. What they were saying is, can a trucker see comment or about a particular shipper location before you book a load? So it helps you plan ahead that this shipper typically takes extra 2 hours to let you go, right? Or get you loaded or get you unloaded. Definitely yes. That is a feature that we're releasing pretty soon. In fact, we're doing the beta testing right now. Should be out very soon. In addition to that, we're also allowing, that particular feature will also allow you to rate a shipper location. So we'll take a little bit of a pause here and let Shane introduce himself. Thanks for being here. I know there was some logistical issue for you to get in.
There was some detention.
So you walked right into the topic.
right over the right topic.
My name's Shane Ferris. I own Green Miles, a small reefer trucking company out of Springfield, Missouri area.
Okay.
100% owner operator, lease operator.
Because I'm with Prime, so we all right there.
With a focus
I'm
on
with Prime,
service.
so we all right there.
We provide the service.
Okay.
We like to deal with people that expect the service, and when something fails, we expect to get compensated for it. As far as, I think that's about the gist of what our company is.
Thanks, Shane. I know we're wrapping up our conversation on detention. Do you have anything you want to add to that? And as we're speaking, he's bringing you a mic. I'm sorry, I think I pressed the wrong
I guess
button.
it is working.
Did I press the wrong button?
Honestly, I'm kind of lost as to where this is going so far. So, detention, I mean, it's obviously a huge industry factor to be dealt with. One of the things I've learned is being able to track detention is a huge deal. I'm hoping that some of the tools that are coming into play in the market now help to collect on the detention that's due, or in preference, just eliminate it. We've said in our company, time and time again, we want detention rates that are punitive rather than compensatory, because we would rather not collect any detention. We'd rather just be put in a door, unloaded or loaded, and let's get along our jobs.
That's right.
It's, I'd love to see there be no detention in this industry. I think everybody here would like to see that.
Thanks for saying that. Looks like that's the theme we're going with. So, we're not fine with the current solution as a group. Our next topic is truck parking. This is a famous picture. If you're a truck driver, at the end of the day, and you're trying to go find a place to park your truck, this is probably what you see. And people are finding ways to have I know a little place where I can park my truck, okay? To get away from the crowded truck stops. Before I go into that, I'll get our panel to share their thoughts on truck parking. You want to go first, Shane?
Truck parking is obviously a huge issue. Most of our drivers are finding that if they wanted to find a spot without having to pay for it in advance, that they're starting their day earlier and they're having to stop and shut down somewhere around 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Otherwise, there's just nothing available in a lot of areas. One of the things we've been kind of pushing towards is, for example, brokers that we deal with or customers that we deal with, if they can offer some sort of secured parking at the shipper or the receiver, or even if they want to include a reserved parking space in the contract, it's a very heavy negotiating tool for them because it's a factor we just have to deal with.
You got good stuff.
Truck parking is a big issue for us, especially in the industry, especially for women as well. We're looking for safety. We're looking for a place that we can park to be safe out here, and we struggle with that a lot. Up northeast is very difficult. Even if you call ahead of time and reserve parking, a lot of times it's not available. Even after 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's very impossible. You're seeing a lot of drivers now parking on the side ramps, on the side of roads, in the rest area where the cars are supposed to be. Just a couple of weeks ago, tractor trailer was in the rest area where the cars was. Another car ran into them. You know, it wasn't supposed to be parked there. So it's a big concern for us. I don't know exactly what. I mean, I heard some talk about making truck drivers pay for parking. I think we pay for enough out here on the road as you know, we go on with our day. There's been some talk about, I think, to me, shippers and receivers should have a spot. We're delivering their freight. We're picking up your freight. I think it's ridiculous that you have such a large facility with all these empty parking spaces and you're not even allowed to come to your area until an hour before my appointment time. You know, it just makes it real inconvenient for life out here on the road. And I don't think people look at it from our perspective of actually driving. Shippers and receivers could help out with that. I see a lot of open areas as far as reserve parking, that the regular parking is filled up, but you got all this reserve parking out here and that people don't want to park there because they don't want to pay the $12, $13, $15 it is to park. Allow people to use those spaces so that they can get their rest and be safe drivers out here on the road.
Interesting that you said that there's a lot of reserved parking but no free parking.
No free parking, you got reserve parking.
Today we see apps that, you know, most of the truck stops are going out and parking, you know, putting part of their parking lot for reserved parking. You're right, at least from our research, it looked like it's about $15 a night. Now that's a pain point. I mean, that's another additional cost for a trucker. If you don't mind, from a shipper point, do you have any thoughts on this?
We're a manufacturer of lawn and garden products, so like our plants are really small, so like trucks can stay outside of our gate like at the end of the day, but like to be honest, all of our loads go within a 150-mile radius. So we really work with guys who want to and girls who want to be home every single night, and we don't deal that much with over-the-road drivers as much, but our loads delivered to big box retailers, and I know that it can be tough trying to deliver at your appointment slot and trying to find a place to park at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and they're like, no trucks in the parking lot, you know. So for us, we don't see it that much. Like if someone needs to spend the night, they absolutely can, and like our plants are usually like in kind of remote locations, so like it's not really a safety issue, at least that I've seen. But yeah, I don't have that issue too much. I don't get a lot of feedback about it.
That's good. You know, being a short haul for you, the demand for for parking is less.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was like a thing, to be honest. Yeah. So.
Definitely, we did hear from other truckers as well, like, tomorrow said, why can't shippers allow us to park at their place, or receivers allow us to park at their place? Anyone has any comments on that before we sure?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a driver and I own a company. So one of the biggest problems was a lot of the drivers did this to ourselves, going to the places, trashing, bottles with urine and stuff. I mean, and that was one of the biggest problems, because I know a lot of places that we used to be able to park at, we stopped for that reason. And so, we have to police ourselves also first in order to help out.
So, if you're sitting in the back, if you didn't hear what he said was, the other side of the same story is some shippers who allowed parking, they stopped because some of the drivers were trashing the plates. And these are some of the problems. There's no one side to look at. Collaboration is always a better approach. So what we did was we started on our app. We let you know exactly how many spots a truck stop has. So obviously, we can get the real-time information of how many are available. There are some crowdsourcing things, but we found out that people were trying to rely on that to make themselves get a spot. People are trying to trick the system. So we said, let's stick to the facts, right? So if you're pulling into a truck stop, it has 200 spots. We tell you it has 200 spots. But what we're trying to do on top of that is also give you other locations. Like we added Walmart listing and other points of interest. That's because our truckers basically said, hey, we park at these locations. Now, we're also adding the reservations directly that you can do through the app, so you don't have to jump into the apps. In addition to that, we're adding shipper data, so shipper location data. So you can see the feedback on a shipper location, but also the details of that. So if other truckers say, hey, this shipper allows you to park here, so you get that data right there. So we're trying to kind of aggregate this information in one app, per se. Again, these are baby steps we're taking. We want to see what works, what doesn't work. Anytime you're on our app, feel free to give us that feedback, because your input is what drives this product for us. Now, moving on to the other major issue that we have noticed is app overload. How many of you had the situation when you talk to a broker or a shipper or any other company that you work with, they say, hey, you just have to download this app. And it's just for either, one thing like a tracking or, scanning a document or finding their location or getting a bill of lading, anything, any one of this. So I'm not exaggerating here, but with everything that's happening with app overload, today there are websites that provide you therapy for app overload.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not exaggerating this. So I went online, I searched for this, I said app overload, and there are websites, therapy for app overload. That's what this smartphone has done to us. While it is a great tool to help us do a better job, it is really causing a lot of stress. So how do we solve this, right? These multiple systems, even if you're a small carrier, you're told that you have to go into some system to update some information, right? Let's see what our panel has to say about that.
Actually, I see that on a regular basis, the whole concept of app overload. As a small carrier, we do a lot of our processes through applications on smartphones or tablets, and when I get a new driver and a new contractor that wants to come in, I tell them, okay, you have to download Drive Axle, scan your documents. You got to download Fuel Book in order to track your fuel. You got to download this app for, I mean, we've got like 5 different apps that we use. So yeah, I can see it right now. I can flip through right here, and if I want to find an app, I forget where it's at because there's so many apps on the phone. It's absolutely something that's going to be advantageous to find all the tools, or at least the majority of the tools that we need daily on the road in one place.
Anything you want to add to that?
With the app overload, there's a lot of apps out there for truckers that offer a lot of things. The one thing that got me with Trucker Tool is it just made it so seamless. It's from the time I picked up my load, had the load number in there, the directions to the shipper, the phone numbers were correct. And then once you pick that up, all you had to do was put that information right there in the phone to let you know, okay, ready, set, go, we're ready to go. Now we're on our way. And when I got there, after I got unloaded, bam, scan it, get paid. That's it. I don't have to go to Transflow. I don't have to go to, the fuel thing was right there. I didn't have to go to all these other places to look to get this whole load delivered and paid for and done. I could move on to my next. And not only that, it had my next, okay, I see you coming into Denver, Colorado. Here you go. We got some things already lined up for you. Are you ready to, do you want to go ahead and pick something now to keep you going? So it just made it really seamless for them.
Thanks for sharing that. So, you all represent the largest segment in transportation. When you're looking at a small carrier owner operator get pushed on a lot of things, how do you counter that? When you talk to a broker or a shipper that wants you to do something out, like they want you to download another app to find their loads and things like that, how do you counter that?
As far as countering it, I don't necessarily know that there is a counter to it. It kind of goes back. I can recommend, hey, you know what, we prefer this app. If you're going to continue to do business, this tool is becoming more ubiquitous in the industry. We would like to only have 1 or 2 apps on our phone that we have to use. But if they come out and say, well, we use this tracking app and you have to do this, otherwise you don't get the load, well, we either take the app or we don't get the load. I mean, it's all it is.
For a driver, for us, just having it just in one location, especially like you got Coyote as a broker, they got their own app. You got someone else over here. So the people that book the loads or that have the loads, it's easy for them to integrate, to say, hey, we're just using this, download this, that's all you gotta do. You don't have to download our own little separate over here. You don't have to download something else over here. It's the loads there, this is the thing that we're using.
And I will add a little bit, going back to the proprietary apps for the different brokerages or different customers. As a small carrier, we refuse to deal with that. The other apps that are kind of universal between different people, we'll suffer through it if we have to, but proprietary apps, we don't really want those on our devices. We don't want giving Coyote or TQL or whoever else it is out there, 24/7 access to our trucks, even when we're not on their loads. Now they'll all say that they don't track it, but quite honestly, do you believe them?
Interesting that you said that. From the audience, do you guys have any other suggestions on how to push back this? So what we did with this is we created as one app straight to the trucker or the cab. So we integrate a lot. So what we ask you is, if you're using trucker tools, and if you get pushback and if you don't want to be switching between apps, let us know. I mean, our team is always, interested in what are the things that we could add to this. If we have a broker that you're working with, Shane and Tamara said, if they're pushing loads to you through their proprietary app, we can work with them to bring the same to you. If we can help you simplify your life on the road, we can achieve our goal. So that's our approach. So let us know on that. So this has been a new trend, or a very important trend, is broker of choice. Everybody wants to be the broker of choice. So who better to ask other than this crowd? When you're looking at brokers, what makes a broker of choice?
First and foremost, broker of choice, above price, above what loads they have, where they want us to go, everything else, it's integrity. This is the trucking industry. Things don't go as according to plan quite often. And if something's going to change and we've got to, adjust our schedules, or we've got to do things to make a load happen the way it needs to happen, let us know in advance. Don't hide the fact that you got a shipper or a receiver that likes to hold people up. If you tell me, hey, you know what, I've got a receiver that likes to unload in 8 hours instead of 2, that's not necessarily going to cause me to turn your load down. And it will increase your rate a little bit, but you'll still get your load hauled. We'll just be compensated that time up front. And it goes the same way. If we have an issue en route, this is one of the things that we pride ourselves on, is communication. And letting everybody know what's going on along the entire route of the load. Bottom line, it's integrity.
Well, broker, just to be open about the load, and let me know what I'm gonna have to deal with up front. I give you one example. I had a load going to pick up, I think, some salt or something. Broker never told me I had to go through 2 miles of cows. I mean, I actually had to go through 2 miles of cows. That could help me out a little bit, But the sign said, next 2 miles, watch out for cows. And I mean, just being open, let me know, hey, be careful when you go in there. This is what's going to happen. So I can set my expectation of what I'm going to have to deal with when I get there. And also to be able to say, hey, I don't have anything going to a certain location, but I do have somebody that does work that area. Maybe you want to call them, give them a call to keep me moving the way that, I want to move in my triangle or whatever the case may be. Just to have that communication saying, hey, I'm not just going to dump you off in California. I got somebody out there that can get you, back to where you want to be. That networking, building that relationship.
That's good. So, from what I hear, you're saying transparency is a very important thing. And also, like where you said, you're looking for someone to help you on these reloads. It's almost like, we have a concept that we share with our brokers and carriers, that is better reloads. So we're not looking at you on our platform as we match you with a load, not just matching you with a particular load. We are looking ahead. It's almost like having a Hawkeye, right? Looking and saying, if you pick this load, just using this as an example, if you have a choice to go from Chicago to Atlanta or Chicago to Dallas, our system can look ahead and tell you, you have a better chance of reloading if you go to Atlanta than in Dallas. So giving you those choices. And in some way, we're trying to help you match brokers, right? Like you said, if a broker puts you out in California, if there is another broker who can get you back, just having that relationship makes a big difference. Anything else that you guys want to add to this? What makes a broker of choice? Do you have any other thoughts you want to share with that? Where we address the transparency, beyond that, do you see any
and just not lowballing us. You know, a lot of people been in this industry for a long period of time. They know these rates. They know what the load runs. And just to, you know, try to intimidate and, you know, you don't have anything else, or I can't get anything else, you know, you know you can go back and ask. Those type of things. And just be upfront.
Thanks for saying that. And so we recently did a survey among our carriers. Found out that they actually like the broker to be transparent on the rate. I'm sure there are some studies out there that talk about if a broker posts a load with the rate, it gets booked very fast. I have some friends from truck stop that I'm sure they can vouch for that as well. I believe I saw that on truck stop, so that's why I'm saying I'm referring back to you on that. So, you know, having that transparency is a big thing. What we did, you know, like truck stop here in the same space, we encourage our brokers to post the rates, but also give the carrier an option to book the load for that rate, not go back into this whole negotiation, because we felt like that's actually how we do for both brokers and carriers to build that relationship rather than, you know, make it a contest of who gets the better rate out of this relationship. So as I said, that pretty much our platform is built for helping them create that transparency. That brings us to the end of it. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on this?
Well, if you haven't tried it, I would recommend trying it just to see how it works. It's very seamless and it has a help in. I can't wait to see it grow in the future. So.
And I will say, one of the things that I've experienced, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with the Trucker Tools app or the Smart Capacity platform. We've experimented and played with it a little bit, but one thing I can absolutely say is Prasad and his team are very receptive to, you know, any recommendations you might have, any criticism you might have that might help the app to improve. I've been very impressed with the fact that they're almost impossible to invent.
That's not a challenge, but thanks for sharing that. We do definitely take any feedback, whether it's positive or negative about our platform. We love to hear that because we're always, you know, like you said, our team doesn't believe that we have all the answers for the future. We know some, you know some. Together we could build a better future. That's our approach. And that's how we got here in this place with the app. You know, customers like them, you know, they constantly fed back into our system. They said, hey, this, why can't I have this? Why can't I do this? And every time you say that, it sparks a thought process in our team. We're working on something, well, let's see how we can solve this problem. It's almost like a, you know, a positive cycle for us, even when you have a chat back with us. Do you guys have any questions for our panel or me today on any of these topics? Okay, so with that brings us to the end. Thank you all for taking time today. You guys enjoy the rest of the show.